Stella here, and I wanted to talk a little bit about this month's theme, which is change, and then go through a tapping session to help us release any resistance that we might be having to change. So I chose change as a theme for September. It's kind of obvious that, we're heading into a new season. In the Northern Hemisphere here, we're leaving summer and heading into fall. And then, it's a time for people going back to school. Sometimes people's work hours are changing. And there just tends to be a lot of energy in the air of, things going into a new direction, leaving behind the old and starting new things. I know for myself personally that September every year of my life always is like usually either the busiest year of my life or like the craziest. I still remember like 10 years ago having a September that I was just like, by the end of it, I was laughing so hard because it was like the worst month of my life, where it's just like one crazy thing after another was happening. But anyways, there's a lot of change in the air. So I thought it'd be good for us to really think about it and work with it. So summertime is a very outward energy. It's an active energy. And it's, kind of when we're supposed to be at our peak and doing the most and giving the most externally. And autumn is a transition between summer and winter, where winter is where everything is more internal. We're slowed down. We're reflecting. We're going inwards. We're not so busy anymore. We're making plans for the next year. So autumn is a transition phase between that. So now is the time to harvest everything from this year that you've done that has worked well for you, everything that you've learned. Really think about what you've accomplished, the things you've experienced, and take everything that has worked for you, that's in your best interest, and hold on to that, harvest that, to allow yourself to reflect on it, and so you can nurture it over the winter. And then anything that just isn't serving you anymore, now's the time to let it go and not take it with you heading into winter. We only want to take what is necessary with us. So thinking about change is not always easy, and it may not always be obvious. So I know for myself, and then some of the people in my life, that we have very obvious changes that are happening around us. My whole summer has been just filled with one change after another. And so much so that it just keeps propelling me forward, where I have not really had the opportunity to, I can't say no to change if I wanted to. It's just like steamrolling me into the future. And it's fine. I have to go with the flow. I can't imagine what I would do if I was being extra resistant to it. Because it's just so much. I don't even have the opportunity to say no to it. I'm like, okay, I guess this is where I'm at now. And it's a lot of things that are, I don't want to say out of control. They're out of my control. So the only thing I'm in control of is how I'm reacting to these changes. So I'm really trying to accept them and go with the flow, understand why they're happening, see the bigger picture. And I've been able to do that. However, what's really important to remember is that when we're going through times of change and we're moving forward into something new, that we still need to allow ourselves time to grieve the loss, even if it's a loss that is wanted, even if we're moving into something better and we're ready to put the past behind us. It's still important to acknowledge what we're leaving behind, what that has done for us, what we've learned from it, what we've gained from it, and how it has shaped us into who we are now, and to be grateful for it, and then say, thank you, I release you. So, but it may not be, some people may not be that easy to identify what needs to go. So that's a good place to start. Start, thinking about what changes might need to be made. And everybody deals with change differently. Everybody thinks about change differently. So there are some people who are really used to change. Maybe that's how they grew up. Maybe they moved around a lot, and so change is what is comfortable and familiar to them, and they adapt to it well and seek it out. Or there's some people who are terrified of change, and it makes them really uncomfortable, and they don't accept it very well. And there's so many. It's a whole spectrum between like two extremes, varying degrees of how people deal with change, and it's fluid because it depends on the situation. Just because you can deal well with change when it comes to X, Y, and Z doesn't mean that you're going to deal as well with it if it's A, B, and C. So it all depends. With me, I really enjoy change, but I enjoy change when it's when I have more control over it, I should say, when self-inflicted, when like I like to shake things up, I like to keep things fresh. So if you've been following me for a while, I'm always changing my website and my Instagram and stuff like that, because I like to keep trying new things and keep experimenting and just change up the energy. That's what I enjoy. I like change. But that's a change that I'm in control of. So when it comes to change that I'm not in control of, it depends on the situation. I might not always be as willing to be excited about the change. So it's important to just accept how you deal with change. Don't beat yourself up over it. And sometimes I have to stop and think, why do I want change so much? What am I trying to avoid? Am I trying to avoid something in the present by constantly changing things? So it's really important to figure out why it is we have the reaction to change that we do. Why do we like or dislike change so much? So there's really is a lot to think about this month. But just be gentle with yourself, and change takes time. So just because it's the theme for this month doesn't mean you've got this month to make all these changes, or even just the season. Change takes time, but now's a good time to start reflecting on things and start acknowledging things, areas of your life that need to change, whether it's internal or external. It's a good time to start looking at the things that are just no longer working for you. For instance, I'm in the process of moving. I've been packing up my entire house, and it's a lot of change, but it feels so good to get rid of so much stuff and just release things and not be carrying stuff around and not be overwhelmed by it. Just letting it go, clearing it out, making space. When we make space physically and declutter, it allows us to open up and declutter our mind and create space internally as well. So changes can be little. You can start just by, cleaning out your house. Have a yard sale. Now's the perfect time of the year to have a yard sale. You can start slow, whatever works for you, just one step at a time. If you know that something that needs to change in your life is something that is like giving you extreme anxiety because it's a major life change, you're not just gonna do this tapping session for 2 days and then be like, I'm ready to totally turn my world upside down. You have to do it slowly. Start slowly. So if you know that there's a major change that you're trying to work your way up to, start with little changes every day. Maybe just change your morning routine when you get up. Start one new habit and then keep doing it. Maybe start one new habit every week, or even one new habit every day if you're capable. But don't overwhelm yourself either, and don't make it like where that's all you're thinking about. It's like, oh, I gotta start something new, or but just take things slowly, pace yourself. And as you start to slowly implement new change into your life, you'll start to become more comfortable with the feeling of change. You'll start to become more comfortable with doing things a little bit differently, and changing your everyday routine. Even if you're just driving a different way to work, maybe if you just change the brand of toothpaste that you use, swapped out something that you eat, maybe making a healthier choice at breakfast. It doesn't matter what it is, but if you keep making these little changes, you'll start to become comfortable with them, and you'll start to realize that it's easy to do, and then you can work your way up to the bigger changes in your life. So I had actually, I promised to post this video yesterday, and I sat here and recorded it multiple times and kept running out of space on my phone. I had a lot to say yesterday, and I probably should have gone over it all before I sat down today. So I'm just trying to think if I covered everything. But, so I made a post on Instagram. If you're watching this on YouTube, my Instagram is at It's Stella Marin. The link is in the description. But I made a post about anxiety and change. And change can be very anxiety inducing. So it's really important to be gentle with ourselves when it comes to change. This is what I wanted to bring up. Is something that I was ruminating over the other day, and I had mentioned this in my blog or in my Instagram post, is that when it comes to change and the unknown, because sometimes we don't know, sometimes we know what change is coming. Like, for example, moving. Like, I know that I am moving out of my current place. However, at this very moment, I don't know exactly where I'm going right away. I know where I plan to go in a couple of months from now, but I don't know where I'm going in a couple of weeks from now. So sometimes with change, we know it's coming, and sometimes we don't. And when we don't know what's coming, that can cause a lot of anxiety. And that can cause a lot of anxiety because we no longer feel like we are in control. And not feeling in control can feel very scary. Control is something that I've been working on many, many years. That's not something you can easily change overnight. If you have control issues, you're going to have control issues for a little while until you work on it and learn to let it go. But it's an ongoing process. So with my current situation, I really don't have the choice to have, like, I just don't have control. There's nothing I can do. Like, I need to go for various reasons, but for health reasons, there's black mold in my basement. There's all kinds of issues. So for my own health, I do need to leave this place. It isn't an option. At least it's not a healthy option for me at this moment. So I know that me leaving here now is the best decision for me. So I have to trust. And that is the other key thing. That is really the main point of this whole video. When it comes to change, that we really have to have a lot of trust. So I have to trust that I'm doing what's best for me. I have to trust that I'm making the right choices. And I have to trust myself that I'm capable of figuring things out, that I am capable of taking care of myself, that I am capable of surviving. And we are all capable of taking care of ourselves, and we are all capable of surviving. That's why we're here. We are very capable of doing it. But not everybody feels that way. Some people feel completely incapable of taking care of themselves. Some people's survival is terrifying. And other people feel great about it, are very, very confident. And the harder it is for you, the more work it's going to take. But it's important to acknowledge it and to start somewhere. That we have survived our lives up to this point, and that we're going to continue to survive until we don't, and until our time is up. And we need to trust that the universe is looking out for us. Are we living our best lives? Are we being authentic? If you're being a good person and you're doing your best, if you're trying every day and you're really just doing your best and you're trying to work toward your goals, then why would you not receive what you want? Why would those goals not be met if you're doing the best that you can? The universe is going to meet you halfway. Now, if you're not really putting any effort into it and you're just sitting back whining and complaining about all the problems in your life and not really making an effort to change it, then you're not going to see change. So when it comes to change, you have a certain degree of control. You can't control certain changes or what's happening around you externally, but you can change how you feel about the situation, and you can change how you react to the situation. You can change how you think about the situation. I personally, I don't want to leave my current home to some degree. I love it here, except for all the many, many problems. And I have to remember that. It goes same with relationships. It's easy to get stuck in relationships, you know. There's so many things I love about this place, but I tend to forget all the reasons why I need to go and all the things that are wrong with it and all the things I complain about. It's just not good for me. Then I'm still going to be sad about it. It's still a loss. So some things we just can't control, and we just have to accept them. We have to accept that they're happening for a reason, and we have to accept that it's in our highest good, and that whatever we're leaving behind, that a new door is going to open and something new is going to be brought into our experience that is needed. More than likely it's going to be something better, but it might just be something that's needed. Maybe there's something we haven't learned yet or haven't seen, and we just need a new experience in our life to shake things up, to teach us something. So I totally got off the point I was trying to make a few minutes back. That what I was thinking about the other day, when it comes to change and anxiety, is how we anticipate the worst. So I started talking about that before. I was talking about trust, but why do that to ourselves? Why assume that the worst is going to happen? Let's start assuming that the best is going to happen, because why not? You know, my whole life I've been working towards goals. We have desires. There's always things that we're going to want more of. We're always going to be working towards something. And even though I haven't totally fulfilled everything yet, you know, I have to remember that where I'm at now is not where I've always been, that I have been moving and reaching my goals and getting my desires. And it's all been happening over time, you know, that I've been growing into it. So it's important to remember that we are moving forward all the time. And we're moving in the direction that we're in alignment with. So if you're in alignment with your goals and your desires, and that's what you really want and you're working toward, then don't doubt that that's what you're heading towards. So one thing I said yesterday is it's going to be like one or two things are going to happen when it comes to change. And when it comes to not having control over things. So when we don't have control over a situation or change is happening, it's going to go one of two ways. It's either going to work out the way we want it to, or I could say the way we want it to, the way we manifested, or the way we need it to, and the way that's best for us. So we're going to be given something that's what we wanted or even better, or we're going to be shown something completely different. We're not going to get what we wanted. And there's going to be a reason for it, because either what we wanted isn't meant for us, or because there's still something that we need to learn before we're ready for what we want. Maybe there's still some growth that needs to happen. That fly is driving me nuts. But either way, whatever outcome happens is the right outcome. So whatever happens, whatever you are so terrified about not having control over, whatever it is that happens is going to be the right outcome. And I know that can be really hard to believe when you're facing change that seems major. Especially like when it comes to things like death. I remember the first time I experienced my first real loss of someone in my life, and I fell into a deep depression for a while, and I just I couldn't understand how that could possibly be what was meant to happen. How I couldn't find a silver lining in it for a really long time. It just made zero sense to me. And there's going to be a lot of things in our lives when it comes to change. It can be scary where it just doesn't make sense to us. And that is completely normal. It's completely normal because we're not meant to know. We're not meant to know the future. That's just how it works, us being humans. And we can't really do too much about that. We can learn to tap into our intuition and trust ourselves and have a better idea of what's coming. But some things just happen, and they're meant to happen that way. But so later on, as time went by, I was able to look back on that loss and that situation. And as devastating as it seemed at the time, now I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, that needed to happen. I see from that point to now, all of the changes and all the things that have happened, all the experiences I've had, who I've become as a person, how I've grown, the path that I chose to go down after that loss. That loss is what sparked my whole journey, this inner journey to healing and self-love and becoming who I truly am as a person, becoming more authentic, living my best life. All happened. I wouldn't be who I am now if I hadn't lost that person in my life. So sometimes it takes a while to see the bigger picture, to understand why it's happening. But no matter what happens, as awful as it might seem, I know people who have lost their homes. You could lose your car. You could lose a person. Loss happens a lot, and change can be really scary. But it really is happening in a bigger picture for a bigger reason. And whatever it is that happens, that is what is meant to be happening. And that is the situation and event that is right for your life at the time. And the more you can just accept that and say, all right, this is what I need right now. This is what I've got. This is how life is. How can I work with this? How can I work to make this better? It's just, it's a lot of trust. It's a lot of remaining faithful, of just being optimistic, of saying like, hey, whatever happens, I got this. Whatever happens is meant to be, and I can handle it, and it's going to be fine. So we're at like almost 25 minutes here, so I'm not going to keep talking. I'm going to get into this tapping session. I'm sure there's a lot that I've left out, and I am sorry for rambling, and I'm sorry if I've jumped all over the place. There's just so much to talk about when it comes to change, but it's just some key points is baby steps. Take baby steps. Take it one day at a time. Take it one moment at a time. Be gentle with yourself. Be compassionate. Don't force anything, but also take some risks. Step out of your comfort zone. I don't want you to force yourself into anything, but you do have to take some action. You do have to make some little changes. So, but do things that you're comfortable with, small steps, one little change at a time. Trust in yourself. Trust that you are capable. Trust that you can do it, that you can survive. Believe in yourself. Trust that the universe has your back and it's working with you to help you reach your goals and your dreams. And just have faith that everything is fine, that no matter what happens and no matter what the outcome is, that outcome is what's best for you in that moment of your life, regardless of what it is. But you have the power to perceive the outcome any way you want. So if the outcome seems like it's negative to you, or that there's a chance that the outcome might feel negative to you, you have the power to change your perception around that and say, you know what? I'm going to find the silver lining. I'm going to find the positive in this. I'm going to see what good I can extract from what I am currently perceiving as negative. Maybe there's a lesson that I need to learn. Maybe there's something I just haven't been seeing that I need to realize. So accept everything that's put in front of you, and don't say that don't label it as good or bad, or it is what it is. It's there for a reason. It's not terrible. It's not the end of the world. It is there to teach you something. You could be starving in on the streets. Figure it out, What is it teaching you? What do you need to know? Find a way to tap into your inner survivor, your inner warrior, and keep going. Just don't give up. Keep going every day. little by little, but you have to be determined and you have to trust. You have to trust that change, positive change, is possible. Okay, anyway, now the tapping session, because at this point I don't even know what I've talked about anymore. Obviously, I totally wing this whole thing and I don't take notes. So, sorry, that's something I can work on in the future. So, all right, if you are new to tapping or new to tapping with me, I kind of do things my own way a little bit, shake it up. It's not quite the same as you might find on other YouTube videos, and it's actually not quite exactly what I learned when I was tapping. So, but basically what we're doing is we're tapping on different meridians, different points in the body, like acupressure. And while we tap on these certain meridian points, we're going to be saying affirmations. So this is helping to just move the energy in our body, help clear out our current thoughts and beliefs about change, and help enter in and put new positive affirmations in it. So when it comes to affirmations or things like this, repetition is key. You need to do as much as possible until you really start to believe it. You may not believe these things right away, so it's not going to work if you just do it and you're not believing it. You gotta believe it. You gotta do it till you believe it. So just follow along with me. You can use one hand, two hands, doesn't matter. And make sure you drink plenty of water. Oh, anyway, sorry. All right, here we go. Even though I haven't made changes that I know will be best for me, I accept, love, and forgive myself. Even though I am resistant to creating and or accepting change, I accept, love, and forgive myself. Even though I have no idea how things will be if they change, and this scares me, I accept, love, and forgive myself anyway. I accept that I am resisting change, but I am ready to release my resistance now. I choose to release the resistance so I can move forward with ease. My resistance to change is so strong that I feel stuck, but I'm ready to get unstuck. There is a part of me that doesn't want to change because it's comfortable and it's predictable to stay the same. But if everything stays the same, then I will miss out on opportunities to learn, grow, feel, and experience new things. If everything stays the same, I will never achieve my goals or fulfill my dreams. It doesn't make sense for things not to change. In fact, I would be bored and miserable if things never changed. Change can be fun and exciting. I have so many goals, dreams, hopes, and aspirations for the future. It would be silly to hold myself back from those things just because I'm scared of change. But no matter how excited I get for the future, I still feel scared. The unknown makes me feel like I have no control. What if things don't go my way? What if nothing works out and I ruin my life? I am faced with so much uncertainty and change feels risky. But what if things could work out in my favor? What if I reached my goals and succeeded? Only I have the power and control over how I think, feel, act, and react. It is only my perception to things that determines if I feel negatively or positively. No matter what the outcome, I have the power to choose to gain something positive from it. I've made it this far in life. What's the worst that could happen? I trust in myself and my ability to provide myself with safety and security. I am capable of facing change. I accept and embrace change as a part of my life's journey. I am grateful for all of the variety and limitless possibilities that this life has to offer me. I have the power to choose to live my life to the fullest or to allow fear to control me. I choose to be in control of my life. I choose to know that fear is just a voice inside of my head and that I'm the one who has control over that voice. I choose love and compassion for myself over fear. I believe in my ability to accept change and to make the best of it. I allow life to surprise me and provide me with whatever is best for my highest good at this moment. I accept change one moment at a time. Deep breath in. And so it is. All right, so please repeat this over and over and over and over again, because I know that I will be. And be sure to drink plenty of water. Whenever you do something like this is a form of energy work. And when we're moving with, when we're saying these affirmations and when we're tapping on these points, we are moving the energy inside of our body and we're releasing things. So it's important to drink water, keep yourself hydrated, and care for our bodies. All right, well, I hope that this was helpful. I am sorry for all of my rambling. If you have any other questions, you can head to my website to contact me or send me a message on Instagram at It's Stella Marin. All right, I will see you guys soon.